This is the part 2 of the mammary gland. We'll be discussing about structure of the breast. The structure of the breast may be conveniently studied by dividing it into skin, parenchyma, stroma. So as you can see in the screen, so first is the skin and beneath that parenchyma, which is called as mammary gland. It's a glandular tissue. And third is the stroma, a supporting framework. So guys, we have discussed as a glance of the structure of the breast. So we'll get into the deeper aspects of each of the component. So first is the skin. As we all know, it covers the gland. It covers the breast, right? So we'll study about the skin. The skin has the following features. That is, first one is the nipple. It is a conical projection. We can see externally. It presents just below the center of the breast at the level of fourth intercostal space. That is 10 centimeters from the midline. As you can see in the picture displayed, like dark dot is the nipple, which is a conical projection. You can see externally. So the nipple is pierced by 15 to 20 lactiferous ducts. So we'll discuss what is these lactiferous ducts in the diagram. And here the interesting fact is that the nipple has muscle fibers, smooth muscle fibers, circular and longitudinal smooth muscle fibers, which can make the nipple stiff or flatten it respectively when there is a stimulation. As I just said now, stimulation, it is richly innervated by sensory nerve endings, tactile stimulation, and of course the nipple has few modified sweat and sebaceous glands. So if you see in this diagram, you can see the nipple, which is a conical projection, and you can see the lactiferous ducts, so which pierces the nipple to outwards. In this diagram, we have drawn only one lactiferous duct to make you understand, but many like such lactiferous ducts can pierce the nipple. Why those are called as lactiferous ducts? Because the milk which is secreted by the mammary glands has lactose as a major content, right? So the lactose which is channeled through these ducts, so lactiferous ducts. And behind that is the lactiferous sinus is the space, you know, right? So we are going from outside to inwards, so that's why first nipple and areola we'll discuss next. So you can see here lactiferous duct, lactiferous sinus, and which has the branches from the mammary glands like lobes. So we'll discuss in the further diagrams. So this is the channeling of the mammary gland through nipple. Here comes the next in the skin, that is areola. So areola is a circular area of pigmented skin surrounding the base of the nipple. From the nipple base, the circular pigmented skin, as we know that, is the areola. You can see in this picture the nipple areola. The areola is rich in modified sebaceous glands, particularly at the outer margins. It has rich sebaceous glands that produce oily secretions which lubricates the nipple and areola, which prevents the nipple from dry and cracking. And the important aspect of these sebaceous glands is that during pregnancy and lactation, these sebaceous glands enlarge, which are called as tubercles of Montgomery. These sebaceous glands will rise, enlarge, so in pregnancy and lactation, which are called as tubercles of Montgomery. And areola also contains some sweat glands and accessory mammary gland. The skin of the areola is devoid of hairs, that is, no hairs are present on the areola, and there is no fat adjacent to it. And here below the areola, that is lactiferous sinus, stores the milk. As I earlier showed in the diagram, the lactiferous duct and the lactiferous sinus, the sinus is the space where the milk is stored temporarily. And next comes the parenchyma. This is the mammary gland. This is solely the mammary gland. It is a gland, right? So glandular tissue is present which secretes the milk. The most important points to be mentioned is the mammary gland is a compound tubulo-alveolar gland which secretes the milk. So if you see that mammary gland thing which is written with the violet color, the red color small dots are the glandular tissue which secretes the milk, which channels through the ducts. As it is lies in the superficial fascia, it has no capsule. So capsule is a thing, right, which encloses. So it has no capsule. It is not enclosed because it lies in the superficial fascia itself. And if you see this point from starting onwards, we are saying mammary gland is a modified sweat gland. So it is a modified sweat gland. The gland consists of 15 to 20 lobes arranged in a radial fashion. As you can see the cut section like thing which is visualized, you can see the round things are lobes. Big circles are the lobes. In that lobes we have lobules. So red color, with the red color we have represented, and these lobules are nothing but the alveoli or acini, the glandular tissue, the cells which secretes the milk. In this diagram we have clearly mentioned, see the lobes which gives rise, which has the lobules. In that lobules we have acini or alveoli. Those are nothing but the cells group of aggregates which secretes the milk, which this milk which is drained by lactiferous duct. This lactiferous duct has the reservoir called lactiferous sinus, as we all know. So this lactiferous duct, which converges towards the nipple and exits. If you see this diagram, so the lobes which converges, which further forms lactiferous sinus and further forms lactiferous duct and which opens onto the nipple. So if we zoom out this one lobe, we can visualize like this. See, the lobe has lobule which of aggregate alveoli or acini. This group of alveoli or acini aggregates further opens into ducts, small ducts which converges and forms larger channel. The channel further converges and forms lactiferous sinus, dilated lactiferous sinus, and which further extends to form lactiferous duct which opens onto the nipple. And I have to mention one point, like if we have 15 to 20 lobes, right, that lobes has 15 to 20 lactiferous sinus. That is, each lobe has each individual lactiferous sinus and has individual lactiferous duct. So if 15 to 20 has 15 to 20 lactiferous sinus and lactiferous ducts also. And finally the stroma. The stroma of the breast consists of connective tissue and fat. This is solely the supporting framework of the breast. So it is partly fibrous and partly fatty, which gives the structural framework to the breast. And this connective tissue of the breast condenses to form fibrous strands or septa. These are called as suspensory ligaments of Cooper. This is very important. These radially arrange and anchors the breast, anchors the skin and gland to the pectoral fascia. So here's the interesting thing, that LOC, ligament of Cooper, maintains the protuberance of the breast. It maintains the shape of the breast, protuberance of the breast. As the age advances, like due to aging, this LOC, ligament of Cooper, gets atrophy and the pendulous breast is formed in the elderly people. And next, the fatty stroma forms the bulk of the gland. The fatty thing, the yellow thing which we have represented in those diagrams is the fat. The fatty stroma forms the bulk of the gland, distributes all over the breast except at the areola and nipple, as we have discussed earlier. See here, the entire thing which we have studied is represented in this diagram. As you can see, the structure of breast forms from skin, stroma and parenchyma. So see, skin, and in this stroma, the fat which is yellow thing, and the suspensory ligament of Cooper, the green color bands, fibrous septas you can see, which holds the lobes in position, and the parenchyma, which is the lobes, that is the gland, mammary gland. So these three comprises the structure of the breast, which we can clearly see in this diagram. So guys, here we completed the structure of the breast in detail. So in the next part, that is part 3, we will discuss about the blood supply of the breast. that is the arterial supply, the venous drainage, and the lymphatic drainage. Thank you. Stay tuned.